Hi, today we're looking at thermometer. This is a logic puzzle played on a grid of cells. The grid is filled with these thermometer shapes, and on the outside we have some clue numbers, horizontally and vertically. The objective of the puzzle is to fill the thermometers with mercury such that the number of filled cells corresponds to these clue numbers on the outside. We fill from the bulb end outwards, so if we take this thermometer as an example, it's upright as you would expect a thermometer to be, so we would fill with mercury from down here in the bulb upwards towards the top. But because we're always filling from the bulb, even if the thermometer is upside down like this one, we would still start at the bulb and move downwards. So in this case we would be going downwards, and we could even go sideways, as is the case here. So if we imagine that these are real thermometers, it doesn't matter what orientation they are placed in, they will fill according to the laws of physics and how mercury expands within a thermometer. Now, to start with, we're playing on a very simple one-style puzzle, just so we can see how the puzzle works. It's a small grid. We're looking at a 7x7 grid. Harder levels contain larger grids, and they also contain thermometers that may not be in a single straight line. You could, in harder puzzles, have thermometers that turn corners like this, or even multiple corners like this. But this is just a simple puzzle just to get us going. So solving thermometers puzzles is as much about elimination as it is finding where you can go. There are a few strategies to start with. We could look for 0 clue numbers, although we don't have any on this puzzle. And as I said, this is a 7x7 grid. We could look for any clue numbers of 7, because that would imply that the entire thermometer was filled. So for example, if this 2 was a 7, as there's only one thermometer here, we would have to fill every cell in that thermometer. But again, we don't have the others. So it might be an easy puzzle, but it's not that easy. We are going to have to do some thinking. I'm going to start up here in the top corner, and I'm going to work across that way, just because it makes sense to work across logically. And the first thing we can note, if we look at this 2, is there's only one thermometer in this column. So we're going to have to start with that thermometer. And because we know we need 2 cells, clearly we have to fill the first cell, which is the bulb, and the second cell. And that has completed that column because we've filled 2 cells here, and we're looking to fill 2 cells. So we can't have anything in the rest of this column. So what we do is eliminate those cells by putting crosses through them. And I like to just put a cross through the clue number as well, so I can see at a glance that that column is completed. But you can see we've already started to eliminate some numbers here, which is going to help us later on when we start looking in this direction. For now, let's move on to the second column with a 5. We can't solve this column completely, but what we can determine is that we will need to fill at least some of this thermometer, because there's only 2 thermometers in this column. And in order to get 5 cells, well, we're going to have to start from here and fill up 1, 2, 3, and 4 cells. What we won't know is if the 5th cell to be filled will be this one or this one. But we don't need to know that now. We can just fill in these 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. And then we can come back and work out if it's this cell or this cell that will be filled in later. What we do know is that it definitely won't be this cell, because if we filled this one and this one, then we would have 6 cells filled, and we only want 5. And obviously we cannot fill this cell without first filling this cell. It's a bit like Aquarium in that respect. You know, the mercury is going to have to go through this cell to get to this one. So we can eliminate this cell. Now moving on to this one, we can't do anything with that at the moment, because maybe we fill this cell here, or maybe we're going to fill this cell and this cell, which would fulfill our 3 across here, and it would fulfill our 5 here. So it's possible that this cell is our 1. We don't know, so we can't do anything with that for the moment. But we can do something with this 6 column here. We're going to have to fill, that will at least partially fill, some of these 2 thermometers in the middle in order to have a chance of reaching 6 filled cells. So what we could do here is fill 1, 2, 3, 4, and that leaves the possibility of filling 5, 6 here, or 5, 6 here, or 5, 6 like that. We could do a similar thing with this column of 6 here. We can fill this entire thermometer. We're going to need all of those cells filled to be able to reach a target of 6. So if we fill those now, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and that leaves the possibility, well, actually, we can't fill this one, can we? We can wipe that out now, because to fill this one, our mercury would have to come all the way up to here, and that would involve filling 1, 2, 3, 4 cells plus the one we've already got, which would go way past our target of 3. So actually, we can eliminate that and that because they cannot possibly be filled given our target of 3. And in turn, that enables us to solve this 6, because if it's not this one up here, then we're going to have to fill this cell down here. And if we're filling this cell here, which we have to, we're going to have to fill this cell here again. A bit like Aquarium, the mercury can't get into this cell without starting here. So we can fill this cell and this one like so. And we're going to cross out that 6 because we've completed that. And we can solve this 2 column here because we've already got 1 in here. So we're going to have to fill this cell here to reach our target of 2, like so. And then we can cross out all of the other cells in that column because they cannot possibly be filled. And finally, as we're working our way across the top here, this 5 column, it's very easy, isn't it? There's only 1 thermometer in here, so we have to fill 5 cells as that thermometer. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can eliminate, how's that, 2, because they cannot be filled. 5 is done. So now if we start working our way down, looking across these clue numbers, this 3, we've already got 3 cells, so it would have to be 1, 2, 3. So that is completed, and then just going to cross out these other cells because we know we can't put anything in them. Now that's got an interesting effect because straight away this 1, we can see that if we're not fitting in this cell, then we have to fit in this cell down here. So we could do that now. That takes care of that 1, and it enables us to eliminate all the other cells in that column. Say with a 5, we know now that we have to fill this cell to complete the 5 here, and that's taking care of the 5. Now, where were we? We've completed the 3, so we'll have to look across at the 4 where we've got 1, 2 and 3. We have only got this cell remaining, so we're going to have to fill this cell to get to our target of 4. So if we continue our line up that of mercury up there, we've completed the 4 because we've now got 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's also going to allow us to complete this column of 6 because now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to have to fill this cell here. 6, which means that the 6 is complete, and it says that the 4 was complete. This 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's already done. Same thing here. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's already done. Our 3 is already done. And our 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in fact, we completed the puzzle without even realising it. Well, it was an easy one, wasn't it? So it was going to be quick to finish. So that's an overview of how you complete thermometers. I should mention this puzzle comes from one of our editions of Puzzle Weekly magazine. It's our free magazine. You can sign up for that on the website. 28 puzzles every week, completely free. And also on the website, you can find some downloadable puzzles to try out and a written tutorial.